This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Let's talk about this now. It is time for Mike McDaniel to show me a little something as a head coach, because at times you're going to have to win without Bam and Jimmy. At times you're going to be stuck inside a bubble and you've got to adjust. At times you're going to be handed Johnson, Dion Waiters, and Whiteside, and you got to make chicken salad out of chicken. You know what I'm talking about. And there are times where, your team can't score a lot, but you got to find a way to fight through it. And my God, you made it all the way to the Stanley Cup by clutching and grabbing and riding a hot goaltender. Sometimes Dan Marino gets injured and Doug Peterson has to come in off the bench, a guy nobody knows. You all know him now as a coach. But back then, when he was backing up Dan Marino, he was a nobody that nobody knew. But Don Shula got his 325th win with Doug Peterson at quarterback. Okay? So my point is, there are times that you've got 8 players on the court and Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen are coming to town and Rex Chapman hits 39 and you win the game. There are some things that I'm talking about right now that some of you weren't around. You're too young. You have no idea what I'm talking about. When Earl Morrall comes off the bench for Bob Greasy and carries you all the way to the playoffs and then lets Greasy take over after that to finish the job. There are examples in the history of South Florida sports all over the place, and I've witnessed most of them, okay? And the next 2 weeks are the weeks for Mike McDaniel to show us some coaching. You failed when Tua was out for 2.5 weeks. You couldn't come up with a victory. Well, you need to come up with a victory or two here in order to get into the playoffs. You've got a backup quarterback that is at least capable of managing a game. He's not really going to carry you. He's not going to be a difference maker. Teddy Bridgewater has never been that. But it's your job as a coach to manage the game. When the running game is working, use it. The good thing about Teddy is he will get rid of the football and he will use the check down. One of the things that Tua got a little drunk on over the last few weeks was the big play, and not enough check down. And, I don't want you to be Chad Henne checking down. You know what I mean? I don't need you to be Ryan Tannehill scared to make a play. But I need you to also take what the defense gives you at times, because the big play isn't always there. So Teddy will play that game. I like that part about it. But it's up to Mike McDaniel now. And to me, I need Mike McDaniel so I can feel better about him in 2023. I need him to start showing me that he can make a difference in certain games when the chips are down, when you've got a little less to work with. You're not facing 2 great offenses. Now, the defense for the Jets is very good. The defense for the Patriots is very good, okay? You are facing 2 excellent defenses. Teddy Bridgewater, all he has to do is facilitate and get the ball to the playmakers. It's not like he has to carry the offense, but more importantly, Mike McDaniel is the guy that goes through a test here for the next 2 weeks. And to me, that's what I'm going to be assessing in Mike McDaniel, because there are things about him that, he's young and he's got to figure out. And next year, I need to see that year that he figures these things out, because after next year, he gets on my hot seat if he doesn't figure things out in 2023. Okay? If I don't see him stay with the running game when he should. If I see him where he's just constantly wanting to dial up deep passes all the time and not work the underneath stuff, or make dumb decisions at times, like putting a Braylon Sanders in a position that he's not ready to perform at, or Mike Gesicki, who's a weapon, and yet you're so stubborn, you don't find a way to get. I mean, there are different examples that I can go through, but he's a young coach, so I can give him the break of the first year. If I see all those things happen again next year, then the breaks are gone, and so is my, belief and support in Mike McDaniel. But before we get to next season, where I need to start seeing, the improvement, I need you to make a difference here in the next 2 weeks. You're not facing the Chiefs and the Bills. If you're facing the Chiefs and the Bills, I'll say, I like Mike McDaniel, but I don't think any coach is going to get you through with Teddy Bridgewater against those. But against the Jets and against the Patriots, those are offenses that don't scare you. The defense can keep you in the game. Offense, figure out a way to win the game. Mike McDaniel, it's on you, buddy. You got to show me some coaching, man. I've seen it from Spo all over the place. I see it from Jim Larinaga every single freaking season. It doesn't matter what kind of players he has. Most seasons than not, he'll have an off season every once in a blue moon, but more often than not, he's going to impress me with whatever he's working with. He will maximize it. Certain coaches, Don Shula showed me, Pat Riley showed me over and over again. There are coaches throughout the history of South Florida sports that have had, things that let me give Phil Neville a little love this year. The way he handled the whole Higuain situation at the beginning, like, yo, dude, you're not in shape. You're going to the bench. And he rode Leo Campana until Leo Campana, unfortunately, could not, keep his body together. And that poor kid had a whole bunch of it, but then he moved on to other guys. And then he brought Higuain back on, and Higuain found his way. Phil Neville showed me a little something last year, the way he adjusted to a lot of adversities with his team. More than deserved an extension. Show me something, Mike McDaniel. Okay? You're witty. You're super smart. You know offenses. I want you to coach now. I want you to have your team as well prepared as possible. And I want you to show me something in these games that his coaching can make a difference and set things up. So the microscope is out, and we're going to be looking at what Mike McDaniel does as a coach over the next 2 weeks and how he handles this situation.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.